Hope you're doing well today. Welcome to a little fasting space. So nice to have you here. Fasting space, an opportunity to grab a coffee or tea, calorie-free beverage of choice, practice a little fasting together. Fasting, in my view, pleasantly passing some time without food for whatever reason suits your purpose. If you are trying to lose weight, then you get kind of a double bonus. Some food-free space help you burn through some excess energy in the body. If you're trying to head just toward a space of peace and contentment, move away from anxiety, break through some sort of cycle emotionally. Fasting can be an excellent tool to do that, so we try to do all those things today. Fasting and the search for lasting meaning. I'm going to read an excerpt of a book that I'm reading now that is talking about meaning specifically. And then we will bend that to our purposes. Meaning, I think, is something that we're all looking for, right? But it's one of those things that people can define differently. So meaning, can mean different things to different people. And I think this is one of the big issues that we have in our culture today, is that we are ascribing meaning to things that don't last. And we're ascribing meaning to things that maybe don't have as much value as we're being sold that they do. What are the things that really have meaning and value to you in your life? These are really worth spending some good time diving into and thinking of. We can lose sight of the simple things, right? And it's so often, the best things in life are free, right? But things that are free don't sell so often. And at least that's not what the marketing and all the advertisements and the culture wants us to think, right? New is better, bigger is better, shiny is better. And so that kind of can keep us on a cycle where we are not finding contentment. It doesn't really take very much, and this is in the ideal scenario, the goal. It doesn't really take that much to find contentment. That's maybe the difficulty of it, is that we think it takes so much. And we work and work and work after it. And then we become frustrated if we aren't finding it. Say, I'm working so hard after this. Status, possessions, things, right? We can go that way in a health space. If we're trying to move in a health direction, if we're trying to lose weight, get stronger, get healthier, work through some sort of process, we can turn that into a process that's so stressful that it leads us away from a path of wellness. Maybe we even accomplish some sort of positive goal that we set, but we aren't happy. We aren't finding satisfaction or meaning from it. There we go. If we're trying to find lasting meaning, that's something that's deeper than just a number on a scale or how long we exercised or something like that. More profound. So we want to dive deeper in that direction today. How would you say you are doing with that? Take a minute of some honest reflection and think today as we're starting out the week, as we're heading in a new direction. This week we'll reinvigorate ourselves and head in a thoughtful way this week. How did last week go? In the big picture, are you moving toward a goal that you're setting? Think about that as I read this little excerpt for you. This book I'm reading, Against the Machine. I don't know, I am just a third of the way into it or so. Tough book. This book, the author in this section is describing a short little family vacation that they took in their van. And I thought it would be interesting just to share, to reflect on. A year or two back, on a short family trip in our van, I saw something about my world, and by implication myself, that I haven't been able to unsee. Sometimes this happens to each of us. Something that you believe you know in the abstract, intellectualized sense becomes suddenly real in a more embedded way. You see it playing out and sinking in. Then it's no longer an abstraction, but the pattern of your reality. Have you had an experience like that? Something that you knew, but you just experienced it on a deeper level. On this occasion, we were in a small town, a nice little place full of holidaying people just like us. Pubs and restaurants are open, streets are full of tables and chairs. There were shops and markets. There are people in vans like us, other people hiring boats, people eating and drinking. There were leaflets in the Tourist Information Center advertising country house tours, chocolate makers, cycling trips. A nice little place, and all of a sudden I saw it for what it was. And what is happening here, and by extension everywhere, within me and all of us, I saw that everything around me was dedicated solely to the immediate gratification of the senses. There it was, all of a sudden, right in front of my face, eating, drinking, buying colorful things, boats, vans, bikes, beer, steak, new clothes, secondhand clothes, burgers, chocolate bars, old castles, stately homes, cappuccinos, pirate adventure parks, golf courses, spas, tea rooms, pubs, fun, drink, entertainment, games. All of it came together suddenly into a kind of package of a sensory overload, and I saw that this is what we were. This is what we had become without really thinking or planning for it. Stimulating the senses, reacting to the stimulus, profiting from it all. This is what society was about. Feeding the pleasure centers, spending and spending to keep it all coming at us. It was a nice little place. Small, unremarkable little town that became, for just a second, the center of the whole world. I saw in this what a machine society looks like. It's all kind of a simulacrum of real culture. Where organized sensory gratification replaces anything that might previously have provided lasting meaning. So that kind of framed my thinking for the week. It's definitely a balance. He goes on to say in that passage, it's not that any of these things in and of themselves are bad. He actually had a great time, had a great vacation. And, we all need time to get away, have some fun. And here, though, the issue is balance. And that's where I think a fasting process can bring things back into balance. At least on the side, for so many things of consumption, fasting is a space where we can find contentment. Can we find meaning even in something simple like moving toward health and wholeness? He goes on in a separate passage. Want is the acid. It's that our wanting, that we don't constrain the desire, right? The heart is both its provenance and its potential enemy. I often ask myself, do I want too much? Do I grasp too hard? Do I live too heavily? The answer is always yes, and in spades. Plenty of people don't have the luxury of asking these questions. I think this gives those of us that do all the more obligation to work through them. Fortunately, we don't have to do it alone. The dangerous results of want have been known since the dawn of time, which is why every sane culture has discouraged it rather than making it the basis of its value system. An ancient problem will have ancient solutions if we choose to look for them. To those who ask, what can I actually do? The answer is as simple as it is disconcerting. We can, each of us, work to put our own inner house in order. The guidance we need for this work can't be found in science or technology, the value of which utterly depends on the ends they serve, but it can still be found in the traditional wisdom of mankind. This is where I think fasting is part of that traditional wisdom. Fasting been part of cultures for millennia. People have recognized the value of it. That something as simple as embracing the openness of a food-free space, that can be meaningful. That it can give us a sense of purpose. I think purpose, as much as anything, is what gives people meaning. Fasting, not the easy path. It's a path that you have to choose to do and is definitely countercultural in this moment. I've been thinking a lot, there's definitely a relationship between lasting meaning and culture. Culture in the bigger and broader sense. Or I think perhaps you could define it as where people are looking for lasting meaning. Cultures that last are finding lasting meaning through collective, practices that people share that help people move in a positive direction. A culture that is self-destructive or engaging in practices that are harmful, that's not sustaining as a culture. That's why I think that's why I talk about it like fasting culture. A centering practice, like in the midst of a health crisis that we have, is like so hard, like the passage is saying. Everywhere we look in our society, it's selling, some sort of stimulating experience, telling people like, this is what you need to be doing, buy. And when that is the centering principle, when that becomes the normal, that becomes all the time, that's what pulls it out of balance. Fasting a practice that can re-center it. Not that we can never have that. Not that it's bad to go out to a restaurant or take a trip. But can we just have the baseline, the centering, be the health of the body, and that path that we walk does not take much. You don't have to buy anything. You don't actually have to do anything. Embrace that open space. Allow the body to work. Body is designed to move through that space. And as you give it the opportunity to do that, many good things can happen. We've reviewed some of those over the last few weeks. Like that inflammation talk that I did, bringing the chronic inflammation down in the body, bringing the stress down, burning through all of that can bring health in so many ways. We had people sharing their experience here on the channel. Joint inflammation coming down, we saw that. So many things from chronic inflammation. So striving for excellence, striving for health, this is something that fasting can move us toward. Putting us in control of our emotional situation as it's putting us in control of our food situation. Thought I'd share a little image with you. What does that look like? It doesn't have to look the same every day. Here I found this image from Wisdom Made Easy on X. This is showing, 100% every day. It doesn't have to look the same every day. Sometimes we can stress ourselves out if we're saying, if we are not working so hard, if we're not giving it 100% all the time, what is that going to look like? Our potential isn't 100% every day. Like, we've got good days, we've got bad days, we've got high energy days, we've got times where we're feeling low energy. I love what he says here. What matters is showing up with what we have in the moment. Progress doesn't require perfection. So this is something that I totally resonate with. I always say, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. "100% is not required, like hitting that one green bar 100%. If that's like we had a day where we really crushed it, very hard to maintain that level. But these other days, did you give 100% based on your capacity? So when I'm talking about striving for excellence, that's what I'm really meaning. Like, is our compass pointing in the right direction? That was a talk we did the other day. True north. Fasting is true north and moving toward our destination. Fasting kind of the baseline to me, and then we build off that with every other good thing. Healthy movement and exercise, so good for making the body strong. We did that just last week. Fasting can make you strong, especially when you pair it with healthy movement. And then choosing the healthiest foods, keeping synthetic, highly processed stuff out of the body. Don't need that. We build our body out of what we put into it. And so you want to build your body into a strong, healthy, functional, sustainable, meaningful body. Fill it with the healthiest, nourishing, life-giving foods when we're eating. Periods of time where we're eating healthy foods, periods of time where we're opening up fasting space. That's what brings things into balance, helps us move forward in health. What is the tangible step that you can make this week to move forward effectively in health? Do you know what the step is? Maybe it's one of these 3 areas that we talked about. Maybe it's getting more active and moving in a healthier way. Maybe it's cutting out some toxic, synthetic, highly processed product. Or maybe it's adding in some specific nourishing food. Or maybe it's diving in on this very centering space of opening up a fasting interval. Could be as little as an hour or 2 more than you usually would. Could be more aggressive, leaning in to a bigger fasting space, giving the body a break, a chance to rest and reset, operate the cleansing protocols that are just waiting to run in the body when we give it the opportunity to do it. Feel free to share in the comments, where are you going with it this week? What is the priority? If you have questions or struggles with it, do share, and we will dive in with some reflection on it. That is the process, to me, at least from a health standpoint, of finding lasting meaning. To find that personal compass where you have the health goal that you're striving for, and every day is an opportunity to walk down the path and move toward it. That is such a healthy, positive thing to do. And that's something that can give meaning, purpose, joy, help you find contentment. And that is something that I think we all need on this journey. Those are my thoughts of the week. I wish you well this week. I hope you find in this week a space of peace and contentment. I hope if you're leaning into a fasting space that you can find it meaningful, and that every day as you step through that process, as you learn to do it, as you're training the body to do it, that on both on a daily level and then in the big picture, that it can bring joy and lasting meaning to your life. Be well, keep in touch on the channel over the week, and I will see you next week.